Thank you for joining us here at a sit-in
with the lampshades.
I'm your host, Priest of the Most High, Sakuma Zingami Lambew.
And I'm your host, Priest of the Most High, Lucifer D. Lambew. And thanks for watching. It's our live broadcast, Tribulation. Darkness has fallen on Babylon. Look forward to get a chance to fellowship with you guys again today. Israel, we count down from the solar eclipse to the September 23rd, which is 33 days from the solar eclipse.
Which I think we have 31 days left.
Roundabouts. And also 7 days from there, which would be the Day of Atonement. A lot of stuff could happen. A lot of stuff is happening currently as we speak. We got renewed protests, whatever or not, clashes that are going on all around the country. Looks like that's not ceasing anytime soon.
Anytime.
We got the other nations, whatever or not, Kim Jong-un, still making threats. I think he had put out a release where the president and different other politicians was basically burning because of nuclear fire, and it was basically saying that they was going to wait until the opportune time to strike.
Like we was talking about before.
Yeah, we was talking about that already, and we were saying that these other nations or whatever or not, they got their astrologers and it's really getting around about the solar eclipse and the sign of Jonas, and with the Revelation 12 sign coming in the sky September 23rd, they know something big's about to happen in America. And the first order of their business is to make sure that they time their attack, time their movement in accordance to the perfect timing of the Most High. They're reading the scriptures, they're listening to the Israelites' scriptures out there on those street corners. They're listening to Yahweh, and they're listening to Lampshades Ministries and ministries like us, Yahweh, that are telling about the 7-year tribulation that has begun on the solar eclipse. That are telling that the tribulation period of time is here, and that ultimate judgment is coming to United States of America, aka Babylon, aka Second Egypt, aka Sodom and Gomorrah.
Mm-hmm.
And with that kind of information and knowledge being out there in the stratosphere or whatever, whatnot, these other nations are looking very intently at the so-called Negroes, understanding and trying to figure out when the perfect timing is going to be for them to move, which would drastically increase their opportunity for victory. I mean, you just got to understand that the difference between victory and loss, especially because the superpower up against a stronger, superior force, has everything or could have everything to do with timing and environment, and whether that timing and environment goes to your favor or whether it goes against you. I mean, you could attack during the summer and have an advantage. You could attack during the night and have an advantage, or you could accidentally attack during the winter, and the occupants, knowing their winters better than you do, just coming out of nowhere, maybe coming out of a warm climate, maybe coming out of a different environment, and because of which your superior forces, bigger forces, could suffer a huge loss. And you would have won if you knew the terrain, if you knew the timing better, and you had hit with a better sense of what you were getting into. And that's what's going on with North Korea. They know that America's a big bad boogeyman, big bad bully on the world stage. But the disadvantage of being a bully is that everybody knows you. They know your tactics. You've been playing these games for tens of decades and decades, hundreds of years, but decades actually since America became the superpower. But they've had an opportunity to look at your bluster, to look at your moves, to look at your tactics. They know that you had superior air power during World War I, World War II.
I think about when they went against Afghanistan, or they went against
No, no, I mean World War I, World War II as well. Not just the Middle East, yes, but World War I, World War II, because those are superpowers fighting superpowers. Those are European nations fighting European nations. And World War III is going to be largely one big European nations fighting European nations. So the matchup between Afghanistan and the Middle East wouldn't be very indicative of America going against these superpowers. But the reason why I do mention World War I, World War II, in terms of America having superior air power, many of the other nations are trying to catch
Saddam
up.
Hussein said that they had superior air power.
That too.
When they lost in the Middle East.
That too. But the reason why I'm mentioning World War I, World War II is because of the fact that America wasn't hit on their soil.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to hit America on their soil during those wars, you would have to have a superior air game. You'd actually have to have refueling planes or refueling ships that would allow for long-range bombers to hit the soil.
The other nations didn't have nuclear weapons back in those days.
No, but I mean, they didn't even, a bomb didn't even hit. A regular air-to-ground missile didn't fuck up America. Yeah. They were able to, with their air power, with their ships, with their forces abroad,
aside from Pearl Harbor,
which of course was an inside job in the sense that they knew that the Japanese were going to hit with Pearl Harbor. They had intel ahead of schedule. They had 100% embargo on Japanese oil. It was something that they had provoked in order for them to test, have a reason to test their nuclear weapon technology. Okay, so I mean that's like saying that Saudi Arabia or 9/11 hijackers had superior air power because of 9/11. When in reality, we know that it was an inside job, and therefore they was encouraged to do these things in order to further the agenda of the American elites, the elites at the time, who figured they had gained, there was something to gain from that conflict. Mm-hmm. Just like there was something to gain from the conflict of World War II with the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The America bombing Japan with their new nuclear weaponry, which created an arms race, but also moved them into world power status and elevated them to the basically the hammer of the earth, the hammer of the world, the policeman of the world status. Because again, with such power and their arsenal showed to the world, the different countries naturally had a desire to keep America on their good side, be on America's good side. So there were tactical advantages to their air power that they utilized in those different aspects. Mm-hmm. Any other nations was watching that. Notice how first thing North Korea is talking about when it comes to Marcia Mason,
shalom family,
shalom
to you too.
Thanks for saying what's up and announcing yourself.
For the other guys watching, please do the same. Follow suit.
Well, man, you just should be leading. But pray be the Most High with a man of Yudah, an absent the man of Yudah, that another Israelite stand up, step out. All right, have the courage to start the conversation rather than just plug it in and listen. But listen is good too.
Getting back to what's going on with America and the upcoming World War III, America's been the top dog for many years. And one thing about that is that America has never been struck from an outside force on their land, besides Pearl Harbor, being knocked down on their soil. Not talking about the Civil War.
I don't think Pearl Harbor happened in America. I think it's on deployment.
No, they actually hit them on the ports. It was somewhere near. But anyway, so they don't know what it's like to be in a war that they're losing, and they're getting hit on their own soil. I'm not talking about when it went against
Civil War,
or when it went
against Britain.
Or the war against Britain, or the war in South Korea, or the Korean War.
Yeah, well, that was Korean War.
Yeah.
But the hitting on the homeland. I think it was 1776 where they got independence from
Britain, whatever.
Britain.
Yeah. Again, when Most High hits this nation, there's not gonna be no coming back for it, right? Most High gonna hit this nation first with the anointed, civil unrest, martial law, dollar crashing, and then externally with these smaller nations coming together to blow America out the water. And America's not gonna rise up again. When the Most High does what he's gonna do to this country, it's gonna be knocked out. It's gonna be end of the fight. See, America had a hedge on their head, and no nation could mess with them for almost 400 years, both before they became a nation and also afterward. All because they have the children of God in slavery. So the Most High protected them for our sakes, even though we were being punished and admonished by the Lord. The Most High still protected this wicked country for our sakes. But now that we're entering into the final stages of the end of the curse that we've been under, Most High has removed his hedge from America, and its next battle is going to lose. And they're already drunken, and they're already making bad mistakes, and they're already slipping and dipping. They're about to fall and not rise up again, as it is written.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. With the solar eclipse again, most of these other nations are well aware through watching the Israelites, the scripture, preach, teach, and talk about these things that the solar eclipse is a sign that tactfully, militarily wise, against America's enemies could be to their advantage. They're definitely sniffing the air, trying to see how they could spin the situation to be a very good first strike ability against the American homeland. And they're going to keep having those thoughts, and they're going to keep thinking about those things, of course, until the anointed show up. And then they're going to realize they don't want to fuck with the anointed. They don't want to give the anointed one extra thought to priorly come to their neck of the woods. They're going to see the anointed on the ground, and they're going to realize it's best to let the anointed stick it to Esau and stick it to the Babylon, so to speak, and basically bring down this nation with their own two hands. And then the other nations, which is also prophesied in the scriptures in terms of Babylon has fallen, its judgment is coming under an hour. Will the other nations will finish off America when when the children of God have all exited this country? So they know this. They know how it's supposed to go. They're sitting there listening. They're sitting there watching the rise of Israel, Israel on the move, the Udites of Scripture leading the charge as it was in old days. You know, Most High said, "Remember the days of old." This has been the battle plan for a very, very long time. You know, for thousands of years. That's why the Bible's over 2,500 years old. It worked in the past. It's always worked before. And with the Most High, with the man of God, with Judah, it'll work again.
See, this is how you know those Christians are liars, man, because they teach some parts of the book of Joel, but they don't preach on the parts that talk about Israel and what's going to happen post America. All right, come with me to the book of Joel. That's Joel. We're going to first read chapter 2, verse 27, and it says, "And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel," not the churches, right? Not man-made religion, not these other nations, but Israel, "and that I am the Lord your God." Of course, he's talking to Israel. He's talking about Israel, and he's talking to Israel, and none else. Woo!
Of course, they don't read that.
Now he says in his own word, None else. So that destroys the whole false doctrine of the Most High sending His only begotten Son to die for every nation, every people in the world, in the earth. That destroys that false doctrine right there. It says right here, He's the God of Israel, right? And none else. So He's letting you know, and He sent His Son, Yahshua HaMashiach, to do His will. Even Yahshua HaMashiach said Himself that He didn't come in His own name, but He comes in the name of the Father, right? If it was up to Him, He would have this cup turned from Him, but let the Lord's will be done, right? And what's the Lord's will is to redeem His people. Who is His people? The children of Israel, and none else.
That's His will.
Yeah, He didn't have to say none else. He could have just said the children of Israel
And left it blank.
and left it up to the reader to decide. But He wanted to make sure He put in His word none else. So what are these Christians talking about? And what are these Catholics talking about? And what are these man-made religion, the Jehovah Witnesses, the whatever the fuck? What are they talking about when it comes to our God of this Bible? It says right here, none else, man. That's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. The Most High made this so that a child could understand it. So why do these Christians and Catholics and so forth get it wrong? Why do they say that it don't matter about Israel no more, that He changed, right? And that now He's all in with the church, their church. When it says right here that it's not about the church, it's about Israel. He's the God of Israel and none else. And He even says, and ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel. So when the Most High says He's in the midst of Israel, He's talking about He's with us.
That's right.
He ain't with these heathens. He ain't with these church members. He ain't with these other nations. He ain't with the so-called white man.
That's right.
He's with us, His servants, the children of Israel, come back to Him in spirit and in truth. These are His own words. You would think that the Christians and the Catholics would make it known to their church members, but they don't.
Of course not.
And they won't.
Of course not.
But let's continue. And my people shall never be ashamed. So what He's saying is basically after we're being redeemed, after He comes back to us in spirit and truth, after He, re-announces that He's our God, after He washes us clean from our filth and our sin, from that point forward, we're not going to be ashamed anymore. The Most High is going to be our covering. The Most High is going to be our God. He's going to, He's going to make us shine, Yah willing, is anointed like the sun. So it ain't going to be nothing to be ashamed about, man. You ain't going to be called nigger no more. Ain't no one going to be calling you derogatory names no more.
That's right.
Ain't no one going to be speaking up against the so-called Negroes, which is really Israel, no more.
That's right.
When our God comes back to us, they're going to be covering their mouth, man. They're going to be watching their words. They're going to be watching their actions.
That's what peace is.
They're going to be coming to us straight up, with humility, doing the crab walk, licking the dust off our feet, the dust of the earth, praising the Most High, worshiping the Most High at the feet of Israel, at the feet of the anointed. Right?
That's right.
That's the destiny of these heathens. And what about the so-called white man, right? So-called white man, they don't want to believe that the Most High is coming for them for what they did to us. But let's read a little further. All right, the same book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 2. I will also gather all nations, and I will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people. Who's His people? Israel. Right? He just said so. For my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. See, they focus on the part of my land part, which is the 7-year peace treaty with the Antichrist, right?
And the fact that the Gentiles are actually in the land of Israel, Pakistan,
and the Jewish and the Pakistanians, they're
Palestinians, they're all Gentiles.
Yeah, Palestinians, excuse me, not Pakistanians.
Palestinians, they're all Gentiles.
Yeah, so they're part of the land as we speak. Yeah. They've already part of the land because the one is the one and the other is the other. But he also said what these Christians and these Catholics don't never talk about is the fact that they scattered his people all across the land. What is that they're talking about?
Transatlantic slave trade.
That's a transatlantic slave trade that began in 1619.
Sure, and they ain't talking about Hitler in Germany.
Yeah, they're not talking about Hitler in Germany. They're not talking about being killed. They're talking about being scattered, being enslaved, being on the bottom of all these nations.
That's right.
You know, that's what they're talking about. And he's talking about this in terms of Shalom, Silver Spike. Nice to have you with us.
Nice to have you. Welcome to the telecast.
Welcome to the telecast. But the Most High is letting you know through his word that it's not just the separation of his land, but also what they did to his children during slavery and the fact that we're in captivity as we speak. He goes on to say, and they have cast lots for my people, and I've given a boy for an harlot, because they're gay as fuck, man.
And they do that during slavery, and
to this day,
and they're doing that to this day
with their Pizzagate,
their transgender filth,
and their homosexuality. They're teaching in the schools, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? I thought the Palestinians were supposed to be in Jerusalem. He's talking about them right here.
Basically, all these heathen nations, all these Gentiles. What do you got to do with the Most High?
Will ye render me a recompense? Meaning, are you going to try to come after me? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head. Meaning, you can't come after the Most High. He's going to bring whatever weapons, whatever armaments, whatever army you try to use up against him, and he's going to bring it upon your own head.
But yeah, recompense. It's also basically saying that, they're not going to be able to make good for what they did. They're not going to be able to recomp the Most High for his losses. They're not going to be able to repent through giving money or giving whatever for their crimes, basically. And because they can't recompense the Most High, because they can't recoup what the Most High has lost, even they attempted doing so, the Most High is going to take all that and he's going to put it on top of them, meaning he's going to refuse, and they're going to be judged.
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, so-called white people, so-called Europeans,
Edomia,
and not, that ye might remove them far from their borders. That's not being in Jerusalem no more, not being in Canaan, the land of Canaan no more.
Negroes,
because we were sent all across the world in these heathen nations.
We don't got our own country. We don't got our own nation. We don't got our own land. He's talking about us.
But that's here his judgment, though. He says, behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. See, the recompense they did to the Most High also was how they treated the children of Israel. That's why he's saying he's going to take us out and he's going to return their recompense. Why? Because they already sent their recompense to him. That's how they treated us for these 400 years. So in the conclusion of that, he's going to take that recompense, the murder, the lynching, the false imprisonment, the Jim Crow, the putting us in barrios and ghettos, the beatings, and so forth and so on. He's going to take all that recompense that they've already stirred up and send it right back to them.
Now notice he said he's gonna take us out, and then give them their recompense.
In its perfection.
Yeah, which basically means we're not gonna be going through that with them. The recompense is for them. The recompense is not for us.
Y'all willing? Those who come back from the spirit and truth.
Yes, right.
Verse 8. And I will sell. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah. He's not even talking about all Israel. Your white asses, your other nations, is coming under us, under the children of God, from the house of Judah, anointed of Judah.
That's right.
See, the Most High has been real specific with you all.
Those who lead into captivity must go into captivity.
Shall go into captivity.
Shall go into captivity. To us, to the Judites.
Yeah, so the Most High, he's letting you know. He's letting these Edomites know. He's letting these heathens know. You coming under captivity under the children of Israel from the house of Judah. He's not saying Issachar. He's not saying Ephraim. He's not saying Reuben. He's not saying anybody else. He's talking about Judah, right? So that means the 12,000. Yeah, that means the 12,000 anointed of Judah is going to get, especially the so-called Edomite, so-called white man, who brought us into slavery in 1619.
That's right.
That for sure was coming to the land underneath the house of Judah. Underneath the anointed of the house of Judah.
There's you Christians' rapture, right?
That's your rapture, right? That's that rapture you was talking about when you become slaves to those whom you enslaved. Let me read that again. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah. Very specific. He doesn't even say the children of Israel.
That's right.
He says the children of Judah.
Let them have it.
Yeah. So I bet you realizing that these different tribes matter. It matters whether you're Issachar. It matters whether you're Levite. It matters whether you're Judite. Okay. It's not just that you're an Israelite. It matters even the very tribe you come from.
Most High is a God of order.
Yeah.
That's the order.
And they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord has spoken it. So not only we're going to buy, we're going to get the children of Edom, especially, right?
No doubt.
No doubt. That's not even a question. But we're going to sell some of them, we're going to create our own little slave trade, so to speak.
Trans-Western slave trade.
Whatever the case. So trans-Judah slave trade.
No, Judah ain't in the slave trade.
No, Judah is the leader of it, so we should be, like the land of Judah, the slave trade should be named after Judah. But that's just me. We'll see what the king of Israel has to say, I guess. And the other anointed who deal in this venture. Well, praise be to Yah. And then it says, verse 9, proclaim ye, before we go, send to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord has spoken it. So this ain't our word. This isn't our opinion. This isn't our thoughts. This is what the Lord has said specifically. You can't get an interpretation out of this shit, right? It's pretty straightforward. The Most High is straightforward. He's talking about slavery. He's talking about the so-called Edomites, especially, being slaves to the house of Judah and being a part by being sold through the new slavery on the block, right? And he goes on to say, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. See, the testimony, the teachings ain't about forgive everybody, love everybody. It don't matter if you're black or white. It don't matter if they killed your ancestors. It don't matter if they kill your children.
Can we all just get along?
It don't matter if they throw you in jail. That ain't the message. These Christian churches are deceiving you. That ain't the message. The Most High is telling you right here what the message is.
Slavery.
Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare for war. That's the message, man. That's the message for these Gentiles. Most High is letting you know clearly. This ain't doctrine. This ain't some sort of interpretation. This is what the Most High says. Proclaim war. What war? World War III is coming. War, desolation of every kind is coming. But judgment is coming.
More specifically,
to these heathens.
More specifically, the birth of Israel, the anointed, is going to be the war that capsizes this nation.
War for the Gentiles, all Gentiles. Yes, in America, but war is coming worldwide. America held the Judites, which he's referring to right here.
Yeah.
Right? But the world has all kind of crimes against Israel. And there's some Judites that are spread across the world as well. Not just here in Babylon, but Babylon is the ones he's going to first. The Judites within Babylon. So there's enough war for everybody. Everybody's gonna get a piece of this. World War III is coming, right? So it says, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Praise be to Yah. So he's preparing the nations. What do you think Trump's doing? Preparing the nations for war. Literally, they know the war is going to be destroying them all.
To honorably give their life for the American bankers, elite, and super rich.
Yeah, to give their life for nothing and go to hell for nothing. But that's their destiny. That's what's going to happen. Thus says the Lord. Praise be to Yah. Scrolling on down, let's go to verse 16. Right? The Lord also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake, but the Lord will be the hope of his people. Who? Israel. And the strength of the children of Israel. So I thought he was for everybody. I thought he was for every nation. His own words right here through his word, he ain't talking about every nation. He's talking about our nation. He's not talking about all people. He's talking about our people. And at the same time, he's condemning the other people of the world, the other nations of the world.
That's right.
But why didn't your church pork-eating pastor tell you that? Why didn't these Edomites tell you that? Why didn't these other nations in the 400 years of you being in captivity, why didn't they never tell you that? They was talking about the book of Joel, but they never brought up any of this.
Maybe they couldn't read.
Let's continue on a little bit more. Verse 17, so shall ye know that I am the Lord your God, dwelling in Zion. Well, I guess when he says your God, he's talking about Israel too, right?
He's talking about Zion. Zion is Jerusalem, land of Judah.
My holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore. Praise be to Yah. And that's his own words, right? And let's finish this real quickly up with verse 19. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom, self-proclaimed white man, self-proclaimed white people, shall be a desolated wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah.
See, we bring in the war. I mean, personally, these, in that day, you just bring in the war.
So the reason why the Most High is going to be punishing these so-called white people, these Egyptians, is because of what they did to us. Notice he said Egypt and Edom, right? That's ancient Egypt, but that's also America. Both male and female, right? Who had no care for the young or the old, who kill our babies in Planned Parenthood, who shoot our children unarmed in the streets, who've lynched us, who imprison us falsely, who keep us in the barrios and ghettos, and poison our food. It goes on and on and on. But he's talking about the Edomites. He's talking about the white man. He's not talking about Saudi Arabia. He's not talking about East Saudi. He's talking about the so-called white man, the so-called white people.
Call them out.
Because they have shed innocent blood in their land, in the land of America, man. This is the place that was burning the crosses. This is the place that were busting in houses, lynching motherfuckers, lynching women, men, children. And no one gave a fuck when we was dangling on that noose and they were holding their Bibles, having a barbecue, having a picnic as we're gasping for air, as we breathe our last breath. They're the ones uncovering the eyes of their children and pointing at us, saying, look at the nigger hang.
Melanin on in says, Shalom, Shalom, Melanin. Welcome to Sitting with the Lampshades, the telecast. We're talking about today, Tribulation, Darkness has fallen on Babylon. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Make sure you do so until you get the latest uploads and whatnot. Marcia Mason says, yes, get the chains ready. Judgment Day is coming, and it's coming like a thief in the night.
For the wicked, but seeing that we're the children of light, it ain't coming for a thief in the night for us, Yah willing. Most High is showing us through dream, vision, and teachings the end of these people and how it's going to come out to be. Finally, we go on to verse 20 and 21. But Judah shall dwell forever.
That's right.
He said Judah. Why is he talking about Judah specifically? We all know that the children of Israel are going to dwell forever. But why is he calling out Judah? Why? Because the kingship of Judah, the kingship of Israel is within Judah. And he's going to glorify Judah even above his brethren, even above the other tribes, forever.
That's right.
Praise be to Yah.
Praise be Yah.
Yah willing.
We be those men.
You be those men. Praise be to Yah. Let me read that again. But Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation. For I will cleanse their blood. Whoa! That I have not cleansed.
Upgrade.
For the Lord dwelleth in Zion. But look,
upgrade.
He's promising that to the tribe of Judah, right?
That's not even talking about the 144,000.
And
that's not even talking about the 12,000 of Judah. That's talking about the average day Judite that comes to the land of Judah.
Yeah, when he comes out with the first Exodus.
That's why he says that the least of them is going to be like King David.
And the greatest of them will be like the Most High. You know, he's talking about Judah.
And he also said he's going to cleanse their blood. So for those who the Most High, you know, redeems and whatever not to come from America, blah, 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 check it. Yeah, we've been in this country for almost 400 years. Yeah, these white devils, these Edomites screaming, just because we expose the fact that they have the Neanderthal genes, 7 to 10% Neanderthal genes, and the Neanderthals were a subhuman, ape-like beast/creature, all right, that their own scientists are admitting that they're not fully human. But just for those Edomites who try to scream, oh, you so-called Negroes have been in this country for almost 400 years, don't you know that somewhere down the lines, one of their people who are slave masters raped some of the slave women and whatnot, and had children and blah, blah, blah. So for those who try to scream that somehow their Neanderthal DNA, some of which could be present in some of the so-called Negroes in this country, praise be to God. Number one, on the carnal, our genes are more are dominant genes, and the Neanderthal genes are recessive, which means
after that generation they should be good to go.
Yeah, but it also means that they're not very strong when put up against our genes. Our genes, like the Bible was saying, kills their genes off. We fight in the womb. Right? We fight even on a DNA genetics level. Okay, But for any of those who do happen to have that transfer over, if you make it out of here, y'all willing the Most High pick up all the people and take them out of this land. Even those who have that um, impure blood because of some genetic mixing that may have happened uh, in down the line, the Most High is saying that He's going to cleanse their blood.
Now, just for clarification purposes,
we're not talking about mamzers.
That doesn't mean we're talking about mamzers, man.
Yeah.
Most I said the story can come upon the mixed breeds.
Yeah.
The Mingo people.
But we're talking about people who may have genetic problems with their blood, diabetes.
Yeah.
Sicknesses,
lead
poison.
You know, GMO poisoning, and so forth and so on.
Neanderthal, because I think in 1% of so-called black people they have Neanderthal DNA. 1%, maybe. But anything that's in there that the Most High deems as inferior, He has the power and the ability, and He's also saying in His own words that He has the desire to cleanse our blood.
Yeah, again, it doesn't mean that you can go out and marry an Edomite woman.
No, it doesn't.
Talking about when the Most High redeems you, He's going to cleanse the blood of your children. I mean, I wouldn't bet my life on it.
No. Remember, He's talking about cleansing the blood for the acceptable children of the Most High of the lineage of Judah, not for the rebels, not for the 2/3 mentalities, not for the people who are thinking that they can get over. This is a bonus for those who are found to be acceptable, that the Most High brings out and shepherds to the land of Judah, of Judah, as a bonus. Say, you know what? Yeah, through some of the things that happened to your ancient ancestors in this country, maybe a homegirl ain't got as big as lips as she's supposed to have. Maybe a homeboy ain't got maybe his nose is a little bit more narrow than it's supposed to be. Maybe,
or his melanin isn't as even as it's supposed to be.
Maybe another person ain't got, some of their melanin's gone, and they're not as dark as they normally would be. The Most High saying, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and tweak your blood. I'm gonna go ahead and tweak your melanin. I'm gonna go ahead and tweak your lips, like you were saying about the black woman. He gonna make her blood like the moon.
Nice to see you, superb Edu West. G. Nice to see you again. Hopefully you have subscribed, and we'll see you more often.
What's up? What's up?
G. Melanin, I'm in, says hallelujah. Praise be to Yah. That's what we like to hear.
Praise be to Yah, Melanin.
Silver Spike says, and welcome, Silver Spike.
Welcome.
Lol, and they always trying to call us monkeys. Come on, monkeys don't got lips, just like the white people. Monkeys, the over lip that they got is always wrinkled, just like the old white woman's lips, or should I say, wrinkled non-lips.
That's right.
So they're always trying to project onto us what is true about themselves, called projecting. They're the monkey people. Right. Monkeys don't got lips, don't got full lips like we do. See these big lips? Monkeys don't got that.
And of course, again, the Neanderthals were closer to apes.
Yeah.
And so they have the genetic proof in their own genome that they're not human. And as a way of form of projecting, they want to call us what they fear is true about their own biological truths.
And Melanin, I'm in, says, yeah, they are the ones born with tails. Some of them actually are born with tails.
And some of them are born, or some of them have horns that come out of their goats type horns that come out of their head.
Marcia Mason says, I always knew something was wrong when I received the correct understanding of the scriptures. That's when everything began to make sense. Praise Yah for opening my eyes.
That's right.
Praise Yah for providing right teachers, good teachers, to help open the eyes of Israel and to fill the hearts and minds of Israel with the correct understanding of the scriptures.
That's right.
because
you can understand why they lied for so long.
yeah, because these Edomites, they were trying to deceive everybody. They were trying to use their sorcery, their wicked devilish tongue to get everyone to believe things that just wasn't true.
I mean, the whole Darwin's theories and the whole evolution garbage was a smokescreen to make the so-called Negroes and every other, well, mainly the so-called Negroes, because the so-called black people are the only 100% humans on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So they made this whole science BS theory to try to say that everybody came from apes, everybody came from monkeys, everybody came from animals, so they didn't feel so alone, and so that it'd be more easier to accept them. But now their own people is blowing the whistle on their Neanderthal, Neanderthal roots and Neanderthal heritage. Now remember, the Neanderthals were subhuman ape-like creatures / beasts that were the physical form of the fallen angels. It was the bodies that they made when the Bible said they came to earth and made bodies that they may be able to, basically have children with animals, birds, fish, and black women, which were the women of the time. So the Neanderthal bodies is what they made, which is more proof, even in science, of the truth of the scriptures. But they don't know nothing about no Neanderthal, or they don't know they don't know nothing about no fallen angel. So they call them aliens, and they'll call them the Neanderthals,
the Anunnaki.
Well, I don't know if science, like the hardcore science I can say about them, but yeah. But we know them to be the fallen angels. And for all the self-proclaimed white man's talk, his lips flapping, screaming, we're all human, their own scientists blow the whistle on their lies.
And boy, do they lie.
And they call you racist for bringing it up, even though it's their own scientist who's admitting it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the Most High has taken the throat of that snake and turned it on itself.
Mm-hmm.
But again, these things are important to know. This is the reason why the Most High, one of the reasons why the Most High said, be ye separate. One of the reasons why the Most High was against race mixing. One of the reasons why the Most High was against chasing after these heathens. Because again, the self-proclaimed white man is not made in the image of the Most High. Adam and Eve, so-called Adam and Eve, was a so-called Negro, was a black. All right. We are made in the image of the Almighty God. Yep. They are made in the image of the fallen angels, the devil, these devils.
Yeah. And
that's just the truth.
And the Most High don't give them everything, right?
Well,
they may have a big bottom lip, but they got a thin top lip.
Or they may have no lips, but yeah, they got a chest or something.
Yeah, they're made incomplete, right? Their hair is stringy, dead, like dog's hair or a horse's mane, right? They don't have life to their hair. It flies in the wind. They got no structure, right? The so-called Negroes, we got hair like lamb's wool. Yeah. And they used to use lamb's wool to create clothing. Yeah. So that goes to show you, if you ever really needed to, you knew how, you can make your hair into clothing. Not that we're going to do so, but it still shows how much life, how much flavor that the so-called Negroes hair actually has.
Yeah, and we gotta battle with our hair sometimes, battle with it. Because it's literally a living thing.
Yeah. Crazy.
It's a lie.
So the Most High made us fearfully made, wonderfully and fearfully made. Right? Gave us melanin to go and protect us against the harmful radiation of the sun. Right? That's the reason why it takes us longer to age. That's the reason why you can be 80 years old and our lips don't frizzle up and don't shrink like some sort of prune. Right? Like it happens to the so-called white man, so-called white woman. The Most High has made the children of Israel to last. Praise be God. If it wasn't for the radiation, if it wasn't for the lead in our water,
if it wasn't for all the shit, the GMOs they try to use to try to kill us off, they can't imagine why Black America is still flourishing to a certain degree. I mean, with all the amount of chemicals and food from Fukushima that they're pumping in, food from Chernobyl, that they're pumping in, milk from Chernobyl, produce from Chernobyl that they put into the black communities. But you didn't know about that? Well, now you know. Now you know. And yet still, you know, Black America's still kicking. Yeah, we haven't gone extinct. You know, the Most High hasn't allowed them to exterminate us, to destroy us. That's the reason why these white people, they hate us even to this day, man. Yeah. And the closer we get to our redemption, the more they long to exterminate us, right? I mean, everybody's talking about this race war. You know, these white motherfuckers are thinking, yes, this is the opportunity we have to finally get rid of the children of God. And this is not going to happen. It's not going to jump off, y'all willing, until the anointed is start to be risen up, and the anointed is going to secure the victory for Israel. Praise be to Yah. That's for sure. We ain't gonna get extinct. Now, Most High may let some rebels go down, right? But he's doing all this to purify Israel, to get his remnant out of Babylon in that day, right? And it's all about the Most High, man. So yeah, we might got some wicked ass jakes who are caught up in that sorcery, who are caught up in that fornication, caught up in these man-made religions, talking about they want to die a Christian. You know, he may give them up, you know, to that race war, that cop on the beat, that whatever. Somebody needs to be given up. Yeah. But rebels are prime diggity. But the Most High is going to preserve his remnant, those who come back to him in spirit and truth, those whom he has deemed worthy to escape what's coming to this world. He's going to make sure that they are A-OK during that period of time, that they ultimately get to the land of milk and honey, while at the same time making damn sure that his enemies and the enemies of Israel is dealt with most definitely. And not one of our enemies or his enemies is going to escape the judgment that's coming onto them. That's right. But we're going to go ahead and leave it off at that, praise be to Yah. We're going to check really quickly, see if there's any new questions from the peanut gallery. It looks like that's all the questions we have. Looks like that's it. Looks like that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here at a sit-in with the Lampshades. I am your host, Priest of the Most High, Takuma Zengami Lambew. And I'm your host, Priest of the Most High, Lucifer the Lambew. And we look forward to seeing you all again next time. Same bat place, 8 p.m. On our daily podcast, and the same bat time. You know, so we hope to see you again next time. Yeah, and shalom. Shalom, all. Have a good one. All right, Israel. Have a good night.